Welcome to Deprogrammer. This is your host, Ari Stone. If you haven't already, please subscribe to Deprogrammer channel, click that notification bell, like and share. My Twitter account is @Ari Stone. Please feel free to follow me there for frequent updates and happenings as well. Today's video is a continuation from part 1 of my legal dream vision foreseeing evidence as filed on the state court record on February 12th, 2020. If you haven't watched part 1 yet, you can find the video link in the write-up below. Before I put together part 3 in this dream vision evidence series, I'm going to put together the neuroscience video to explain the science behind my dream situation with Corey Goode and David Wilcock. And I will address how neuroscience, artificial intelligences, and patented frequency technologies directly relate to Corey Goode and his mental health claims, along with our dream vision situation. So, without further ado, thank you for joining me today and welcome to part 2, Dream Vision Trade Secret Evidence as it relates to my legal case with Corey Goode and by extension, David Wilcock. 3. DV private jet stalls and falls, but engines back on okay to New York City? Natalie is my girlfriend, CTV sample 3. On May 6, 2019, 8 days prior to receiving the May 14, 2019 court orders, I documented in rough format a dream vision titled Private Jet Stalls and Falls but Engines Back On Okay to NYC. Natalie is my girlfriend, and it is a publicly unpublished dream vision prior this court record. In the dream vision, I am on an airplane with Judge Flynn. He's overall the pilot, but I also feel like the pilot some. In waking states, Judge Flynn is the judge, so he is guiding things like a pilot for this instant case. But I am also sort of the pilot because of my paper filings as the plaintiff. In the dream, there are 4 people in the plane. Me, the judge, my girlfriend Natalie, who also feels like a co-pilot, the defendant, and Corey is also the nondescript male passenger but interacts largely as Natalie to connect this with other DVs and to denote he doesn't really interact with the case as himself but through an improper proxy female lawyer. And there is one stewardess, flight attendant, likely Judge Flynn's division clerk or key helper with her case paperwork. So everyone in the plane feels like they are semi-piloting because we all have a hand in how the case progresses. But the pilot, Judge Flynn, ultimately is the one in control of the plane case, directed by the decisions and orders he makes. We are flying over the Amazon and Brown mountain ranges to connect it with Judge Flynn appearing as Forest Ranger John, see number 5 below. As I think of brown forest ranger outfits and the Amazon has to do with other DVs I won't get into here. In the plane, we are flying fast, slow, up, down, sideways. Then we go way high up and the jet engines stall and cut out. Then we go into a nosedive, but I'm not worried at all. And then the pilot, Judge Flynn, gets the engines back on just in time and we go back up again. I also asked the pilot if we could just go at 1 speed and altitude. In waking states, Judge Flynn filed the May 14, 2019 orders and specifically noted the case was tortuous on page 2 at paragraph 2 with an additional meaning of full of twists and turns. While reading through the orders, 1, background section, I felt like we went up, down, left, right, and sideways. Prior to the orders, I had filed 2 separate amended complaints and withdrew the November 13, 2018 complaint. But that is the one that Judge Flynn accepted. However, prior to it being accepted, there was a stall because I had withdrawn it. So he had to do his pilot, judge, switches magic, legal rules to get the engines back on in the case plane moving forward again. And ultimately, he accepted the November 13, 2018 amended complaint as a matter of right and struck the other amended complaint filed on February 27, 2019. After the plane flight, there is another DV sequence with myself and Corey as Natalie. This section is still under observation for how it will look in waking state, but I'll be cautious of things because of the spiral stairwell shape involved and the behavioral warning associated with that. "4. DV, I received court order letter via notch in the wall. See DV sample 4. On May 14, 2019, the dream vision experience titled "I Receive Court Order Letter Via Notch in the Wall" was documented into my journal. In waking states, I didn't know the orders were on their way to me. In the dream, I received Judge Flynn's then just filed May 14, 2019 court orders that were for some reason put in a notch in my wall. I described the basic contents, brief thoughts, and shape of the envelope. In waking states, on May 18th of 2019, I received Judge Flynn's pending orders filed on the 14th and described the similarities to the contents, my brief thoughts, and shape of the envelope. 5. DV, Big Fat Italian Family Banquet, Fishman, and Forest Ranger John. Bear Man shakes baby. Abuse. He stops. CDV Sample 5. On January 5th of 2019, I documented in rough draft format my dream vision experience titled "Big Fat Italian Family Banquet, Fishman, and Forest Ranger John. Bear Man shakes baby. Abuse. He stops." And blog published a public version on January 10th of 2019. In the DV section with Ranger John, Judge Flynn, at first I am preparing for a math test, aka court stuff, and have folders like my court case folders. I am then watching Ranger John, with brown hair, lead a group of campers in singing. I think he is a very good leader and he is able to motivate and inspire the campers to do his way and will. In waking states, approximately 4 months later, I sat in on a jury trial for a few days that had to do with a physical assault between 2 ice hockey skaters. This case started on May 8th of 2019. I attended to observe Judge Flynn in court, see how he went about things, and observe and take notes during a jury trial to better be able to present my case. I found Judge Flynn to be very respectful. He also seemed to enjoy his work leading in the courtroom and was very kind to all the campers, or jurors, people, and those who testified. I found him fair, kind, and calm, just like I saw in the dream, and thought he was very good at leading the singing, which is usually what people say when others are being turned into the police, i.e., he sang like a canary. Later in the dream vision, a giant bear man arrives, the defendant, Corey Good, and he scares the other campers, people. A bear denotes someone stalking another in the dream language book I like to work with. Corey appears again as a bear in dreams just prior to him performing public harassment of me in waking states. See number 17 with shape-shifting bear. In waking states, the defendant scares people in the public and privately with his stalking and bullying tactics, and for which some are now willing to testify in this case. In the dream, we are taken into a separate Indian circle area with Ranger John, likely to denote the judge's chambers or even possibly a coming hearing for the case. Dreams can reoccur and cover more than one situation in waking states, similar to the Bible codes or AI computer codes in the complexity of their layering and expressions. So this section may have already played out once or been activated just prior to the May 14, 2019 orders, and may again play out in waking states as a more private injunctive relief hearing. In the dream, the bear man defendant is holding a baby he is abusing, my trade secrets / dream visions, and as seen extensively in the pre-litigation affidavit complaint. And he'd learned if he shook the baby a certain way, her head would go off to the side and she would scream and scare people. To him, this was amusing and funny. In waking states, the defendant has created mutilated derivative works with my beautiful dream experiences that he has turned into being more like horror stories designed to scare people, which connects with DV sample 13C and the Halloween Scare House in number 13 below. In the dream, the giant bear man and I are sat down and talk with the judge, who is still observing to see what the facts are. He notices me staring up under his hat, and he takes it off, showing me he big-shaved his head. No more brown hair. Now, in waking states, this denoted, with the dream book I like to work with, Judge Flynn clearing his schedule in waking states to make time for the case to read at least some of the papers filed, and thereafter issue the May 14, 2019 orders. The bear man runs outside the circle and I follow him out, concerned for the baby, and privately tell him to stop abusing the baby, and I help him see that what he's doing is abuse and that he needs to stop. He starts to understand. In waking states, I was telling the defendant privately by email to stop harassing me and others and to stop abusing my dream visions, the baby. We then go back into the Indian Circle area, and the defendant is more a giant man now, to denote that he is somewhat famous, and not a bear, stalker. And Ranger John is able to see there is abuse occurring to the baby, my literary works, and the giant man is telling his side of things about the problem. I again have to privately tell the giant man to stop abusing the baby. The baby connects with many more dreams that I won't get into here. This dream seems to have been partially played out in waking states and/or may overlap with more than one hearing with me and the bear man going in and out of the gates. It may also show a preliminary injunction hearing. Due to the other family members of his being present and it being a more private setting, he will likely then complain about how others are treating him, but he's been treating them badly and they mostly have just responded in kind. 6. Judge Flynn reading off orders, intently aware of me. Cat likes and comes up to kiss my lips. John shows me. CDV Sample 6. On May 24, 2019, in Dream Vision titled Judge Flynn reading off orders, intently aware of me, cat likes and comes up to kiss my lips. John shows me. Plaintiff observed that a laser surgery was about to take place on a homeless guy and his cat. This DV will not be explained at this time, but the defendant is aware of some key elements in the DV from my efforts to privately negotiate outside of litigation and is being shared here for mutual observation purposes and likely later explanation. I speculate about what this means at this time. However, some dream connection inferences can be made about who people are from the dreams just explained, such as John, Ranger John. Thank you for watching and listening to Deprogrammer channel. Be sure to click that notification bell to be alerted to the coming videos of this affidavit and for the videos where I'll be delving into Corey Goode's mental health claims and how the CIA's MKUltra mind control programs, neuroscience, and patented frequency technologies relate to his public claims. This is your host, Ari Stone, signing off.